This conversation is taking place at the DuPont Environmental Center in the Russell W. Peterson Wildlife Refuge.
We're talking with Delaware Senior Senator Thomas R. Carper. You've just become chairman of the Senate committee that deals with...
Yes, I have. Yes, you're right.
Homeland Security.
Finally got rid of Joe Lieberman. He's out of my hair. So. No, I love Joe and hated to see him go. For years, I pleaded with him not to go, not to leave. I said, I'll be your wingman. I'll be your second banana, Joe, on Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee. He said, no, my wife would like for me to go, and just like you have grandchildren, they have grandchildren. They want to spend more time with them.
Well, what would you say? I mean, I know you've been on that committee for some time, and what's the big threat to the security of our homeland? What's in your judgment right now? What's the
threat changes from time to time. For the last 10 years, it's probably been terrorism, Al-Qaeda, and offshoots from Al-Qaeda, and they're still a threat. They moved out of principally out of places like Afghanistan, and they're more North Africa, and that's a threat, and one we need to be mindful of and are mindful of. I think the bigger threat today, though, and probably the bigger threat in the decade to come, is cyber terrorism, and it principally comes from three countries: China, Russia, and now to a growing extent from Iran. And they are perfecting the ability to, one, go after our intellectual property rights, our business secrets, stuff that we've invented, and rather than invent things themselves, they just steal our ideas, steal our weapons secrets, be able to actually hack into the New York Times and find out how they're investigating a very wealthy Chinese political family, to be able to hack into Bob Gates' emails when he was Secretary of Defense, steal the plans for the F-35 fighter aircraft, steal the plans for advanced radar systems. That's all things that they can steal, not have to develop them themselves. Steal.
And we don't know how to stop that?
Actually, we're getting better at it. Some of this is what no, I'm not able to share because it's classified nature. But we're getting much better at it.
What about, sort of closer to home? I remember, 10 years ago, right after 9/11, I was at a seminar in Washington when the Coast Guard Admiral, who was the first head of that agency, said, being on an airplane in America is the safest place that you can be in the country. We've got that locked. That doesn't, there's no safety. He said, but I wouldn't ride a train from Washington to New York on a bet. Okay. Because it's the potential
I was just
danger.
briefed last month by the Amtrak security folks and by the Department of Homeland Security. And trains aren't an unsafe place at all. We worked and made them a whole lot safer, just like we've worked to make travel by airplane a whole lot safer. The question is, do you just stop? We're like where we are? No, we don't want to do that. But we have intelligence that we're able to use as who's, in some cases, who's going to be on a train, who might be on a train. We have the ability with K9 to do a nice job. We're much smarter in what we do. A lot of it's not seen to the public eye. A lot of it's what goes on with TSA is not seen to the public eye. You say you're going to go up to Philadelphia today and you want to take a flight someplace. When you walk in, you get in line before you go through and open up your suitcases or whatever. You're standing in line to go through before you ever present your boarding pass and your ID. A lot of times you'll see somebody walking through the line, TSA person, just saying hello, saying hi, how are you doing, where are you going, and just being friendly. And that person is doing what the Israelis got to be really good at, and that's looking for signs, just psychological stuff. But we're a lot smarter in the way we do that. We also, with TSA, we now have for people who fly frequently, we know them, they're safe, there's the opportunity for those people to not go through the whole rigmarole of the TSA check. So we're doing better.
What about, the port, containers? I've read a lot about how the potential danger of containers containing bombs and that the security at airports is not really what it should be. Do you think that's accurate?
When they say it's not what it should be, it's a heck of a lot better than it was, and it needs to continue to get better. The bad guys are smart, and they're going to come up with new ways to hurt us. And part of what we need to do is continue to develop our human intelligence. We need to continue to use electronic monitoring for these guys when they're talking with one another or communicating in some other way. I like to say, if it isn't perfect, make it better. And it's not perfect, and we need to make it better, but it's a whole lot better than it was. Can we go back to cybersecurity for
Sure.
just a second? It's been a big push. Joe Lieberman Susan Collins, myself, several, Dianne Feinstein, led a big push with support of the administration last year to be able to better defend our critical infrastructure, which would include our banking system, would include our air traffic control system, the electric grid, utility systems, water systems, that kind of thing, from being hacked into and shut down. That can hurt a lot of people, kill a lot of people, and it can also really put a hurt on our economy. We need legislation to deal with that. The administration has not given up on legislation. They're going to offer an executive order later this month that'll address part of the concerns, but Congress needs to come around and fill in the gaps around that legislation, and I'll be working on that in our committee.
I assume we're doing the same to them that they're doing to us. Is that true?
We are, to some folks, we are, without getting into more detail than that. One of the things we're getting, I think, better at is counterpunching. You know, in boxing, like somebody hits you, you'll be able to hit them back. The other thing we're doing a much better job at is being able to defend ourselves. Is it perfect? No, 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 no. We see a bunch of banks being attacked by Iran overwhelming the ability of banks to process information that's coming in, and as a result, there are delays in their providing services to their customers and to others. In China, for years they have stolen our secrets and those of other people. Eventually, when their economy gets to a point and they have a strong, robust ability to develop their own intellectual property, their own research and development, they'll get to the point where they'll say, you know, we need to protect that, and then they'll be less of a threat to us, and eventually get to be a partner. But between now and then, we just have to make sure we don't start shooting at each other, and I hope that we can pull that off.
Thank you, Senator.
No, thank you.
You're connected with Content Delaware.